Ask and you shall grow.
Welcome to Ask and You Shall Grow, and today we have an episode on hypnotherapy. We're going to talk with Anastasia, who will speak about that. She's a hypnotherapist and also a relationship coach. She's going to talk a little bit about basically what is hypnotherapy, because that's the big question. What is that? I didn't even know until even last year or the year before, I think. Please tell me a little bit about it.
Thank you for your introduction. In order to proceed with the answer to your question, I would like to ask you, have you ever experienced or tried yourself meditation?
I have, yes. I meditate twice a day, actually, but that's a new thing.
Okay, knowing that you've already experienced hypnotherapy last year and meditation, would you say there's something similar between these two?
Yeah, because you're almost in a different state. You're like really relaxed and really, your mind goes calm. Like you let the thoughts go a little bit, like, like when fish run away from the wave, feels like your thoughts just run away and you're peaceful. That's actually
Exactly.
how it felt.
Yes, that's the point, because the meditation and hypnotherapy, they have a lot of in common. And the main, as we know, like a lot of people, they for sure heard of meditation, or like some of them, they tried at least once in their life to meditate. And the main purpose and idea of meditation is to relax your body and your mind, and of course, yeah, just to let it go and let your body to completely relax. But for the meditation, it's a little bit different. And of course, hypnotherapy, the main idea is also to relax your body and mind and let there are beautiful things happening. Because when we're relaxing the body and mind, we are open, our mind is open and more accepting better the suggestions, the positive suggestions and the ideas that coming our way directly to subconscious. And if speaking about the definition, hypnotherapy is of the focused attention of ours, the state of focused attention, and we are bypassing the critical factors. We are bypassing the analytical mind of ours, our consciousness, and we are going directly with the suggestions and the ideas directly to our subconscious mind. And there, that's exactly the time where it's very easy for those suggestions to come into our subconscious and stay there forever.
Right. That's
So,
so interesting.
so that's why it's nothing mystical or strange about hypnosis. It's like really we're just playing with the state that's very well known for us. And also, like people, they are always confused. Like, what's hypnosis? Is it like sleep or unconsciousness? Which is not the fact. It's definitely not that. So it's not unconsciousness. It's not sleep. It's not being not in control. It's actually the other way around. You are in control, and it's about gaining control back.
Okay, I want to ask another question now because
Yeah.
you brought it up
Yeah.
as a topic already.
Hmm.
So, are people asleep or not asleep? That's because we're gonna bust all the myths right here
Yeah.
today. Are people asleep or not? What state they're in? I know because I've done a session with you, but people should know.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you had the same thoughts before you were doing
Absolutely.
hypnotherapy. Like, will I be sleeping or not? No, so that's yeah, probably important to start what it is not. It is not sleep. It's not unconsciousness, as I told. You can lie in hypnosis. It's not like at a truth serum or something. You can you can do, like, you for sure hear everything. You can hear, you can speak, you can think, obviously, and yeah. So for hypnotherapy, you don't need to be prepared. It's just a natural state that you're going in and out throughout the day. So basically, in our brain, there are four brain waves that were going in and out throughout the day. And so, like, now we're in the beta wave when we're active, when we're like really awake. And then when we are, for example, going to sleep, we're going through the alpha, like it's like light way of trance. Then we're going to theta, which is like a deep level of trance, and then we're finishing with the gamma, which is like a total absolute sleep. So, like, when we're waking up, we're going back through all those waves to the active one. Same when we're watching TV, when we are scrolling our phones, like Instagram or any other social media. when we're reading book or when we're driving on autopilot. So that's something we're experiencing on a daily basis. It was also proved that you cannot watch TV more than 60 seconds being in alpha brainwave, sorry, in beta brainwave, because right away after 1 minute, your brain maximum after 1 minute switch to the alpha brainwave, which means you're like very focused and very relaxed. And that's actually really interesting. And I'm pretty sure you know those moments when you're like reading something or like again scrolling your phone or watching TV, and then someone is entering the room and you don't just notice them. You just don't hear them because you're so focused deeply. So that's the state we are trying to reach with the hypnosis.
Okay, interesting. Okay, let's bust more myths. I want to know more myths that are factually true or not true. Because people have this idea of hypnosis and they might even be scared of it. Like, oh my God, what are they going to do to me? They're going to tell me to give them all of my money, or what's happening? Like, what actually is incorrect then? What myths can you bust here right now about the
So,
theory things people have around it?
so you mean that if you can accept any negative suggestions
Oh, yes, absolutely.
in the classical hypnosis that you do?
One you do.
Yes, the one, the hypnosis. Of course, because people have a lot of associations with the stage hypnosis.
Right.
And the stage hypnosis is something where people are asked to make something they kind of don't want to. Like pretend you're like, I don't know, you're a dog, and people start like, or monkeys start jumping around. So that's different. That's not something, that's nothing to do with the hypnosis, actual hypnosis that people are coming for help for. So like if people are, um, so I'm just explaining. So basically, the main idea of hypnosis, you cannot accept suggestions that you are not feeling well with. So you're accepting suggestions when you're in hypnosis, only like the positive suggestions that you agreed on, or like only positive ideas coming your way. So you would never accept anything that you're not feeling comfortable with. Again, you're in a deep or light relaxed state, your body and your mind, but you can open your eyes and walk away anytime. You can speak, you can communicate, you can say that I don't like it, for example, if you hear some suggestion that's not aligned with your personalities coming your way. So you would never accept something that you don't want to be a part of your life.
That's
So that's
great, right? That's actually what people fear because they're like, oh my
yeah.
God, don't make me do stuff. And it's like, no, that's not the point. But that makes it something that then isn't such an ethical problem because you're not going to allow something to happen.
Yeah, and you cannot allow something to happen if you're like here, you're present. You're just deeply relaxed. So that's when I was like we started our communication. It's like meditation. You're just deeply relaxed, and that helps you. Like sometimes if you want to fix, I mean, we can discuss it of course later, but like if your idea is just to bring in some like yeah some suggestion, and you want to prepare yourself, for example, for the coming day or the coming, I don't know, half a year, if you're preparing yourself for I don't know, speaking in front of the audience, and then you want these suggestions to come your way, then you just need to be deeply relaxed, your mind and body, and you basically, or yourself. There's also options of self hypnosis. That's something we can also discuss later. But if it's a guided hypnosis, so you can be repeated this like suggestion a couple of times, so it goes deeply into like your subconscious and stays there. And of course, if you, for example, you're trying to fix it, wrong word. It's about transformation. Yeah, but like more if you want to change something like your patterns or your habits, then you basically help yourself to bring up the emotion that's connected to this habit or pattern, and then in this emotion, you basically make those changes. But again, about transformation and fixing, hypnotherapy helps you with transformation and transformation. How paradoxical it would not be sounding, but transformation is not about um, it's not about changing yourself. It's not about becoming someone new or someone else. It's actually remembering who you really are and who you were before the life shaped you by these challenges, fear, and pain. and actually become who you were in the very beginning, like coming back to your roots. So like hypnotherapy is like a journey that helps you to become your true self.
Yeah, I like that. That's very empowering because I think it's not like I'm coming to a hypnotherapist because I can't do this or this is wrong with me, which is quite sad, I think, to think. It's more like, this is really not working for me. Why am I doing this every time? Like, for example, let's say you, I don't know, smoke and you're like, I don't smoke, but I can't stop it. Why? Like,
Yeah.
it's made me do that. Like, what's happening here? And I guess you could help with dealing with something like this, right?
For sure, for sure. But the main one of them, like the main idea is because you told about smoking, and if you can help, only if the person wants that.
So they really have to want it. I was going to ask the question, so when doesn't it work and does it sometimes not work? Because I imagine people want to come to you in a session and go, you're going to heal this part of me and then my life is going to transform. And does that not happen, and how and what causes that?
I mean, hypnotherapy, as I told you, there is also option for the self hypnosis, right? And but in general, even if it's a guided hypnosis, is a work of both sides, of the client, of the person who wants to change, and of course of the hypnotherapist who is knowing how to make a proper hypnotherapy. But yes, answering your question, it's possible that it's not working. Means, for example, that person, he comes to you or he was brought by something, by someone, sorry, and like for example, the mom brought her adult child who wants to quit smoking, but he actually doesn't want to quit smoking. That's why this session, like the therapy, will not work, because person, you cannot. That's why I'm saying you cannot accept suggestions that you don't want to be a part of you. If it would be like this easy.
Can you be in denial then, maybe? So then it doesn't work. So for example, if you're like, I want to quit smoking, but secretly you actually like it.
Yeah. That's as well. But that's something you need then to work with. So that's why it's important to speak with your client. Usually, I'm spending up to 2 hours minimum to really identify what's the issue, what's the problem. The client can come saying like, okay, my problem is this and this. But then when you start speaking more and more with the person, you understand that there's a lot of things on the background of this whole story, and you need to start at the root of it, and then then basically it can change a lot. But yeah, like the main idea, the main key is for the person to want to be changed. And again, if you, in the end of the day, we're of course discussing today hypnotherapy, but as soon as you acknowledge there is something in you that you want to change, doesn't matter which tools. I think myself, my preference is hypnotherapy, because even comparing to therapy, I think hypnotherapy really, yeah, it's basically it saves your time on the journey. And I can give you example why, for example, comparing to therapies, hypnotherapist works much better. Um, so, for example, if the person comes to you with the fear of dogs or cats, and if the person will come to the therapist, they will speak on the conscious level. So, for example, I'm afraid of dogs, and I know that when I was 4 years old, the dog came to me, barked, and I was so scared, and like I understand it all. But because this fear appeared on the subconscious level, and it's on subconscious because it was an emotion. So every time we're in emotion, it means that the subconscious level is on the surface.
Right.
And that's why if you want to reprogram yourself, if you want to remove this fear and to write a new program, a new pattern, you need to go back to the subconscious level. That's why for me, yeah, like why I also started to learn about hypnotherapy, studying it, practicing it, and then later helping people, because I realized that it shortens this paths like so much. It can take sometimes with therapists for years or two to fix this issue. Of course, like it's for sure individual. I'm not saying anything.
So be susceptible to it.
Yeah.
No,
So I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's bad if you're doing therapies or like coaching or something else. It's everything is great as soon as you acknowledge they have something to fix. Acknowledgement's already 70% of success, and then you choose your path. But my path and how I saw it, that hypnotherapy is really showing great results.
And okay, what makes it then so efficient? Is it because it goes straight to the subconscious and that solves it for you fast?
Yeah.
Like what is the big cut then?
Yes,
Time.
because
How does
yeah,
that work? It's so interesting.
yeah. So basically, like as I told, if some kind of fear of the dogs happen on the subconscious level, if consciously, if you will be speaking about it, you will like, okay, like I have this fear. I know the reason is because of this, but it can take you forever because like if it would be like this, like, okay, I'm smoking. I know I want to quit of
Right.
smoking. Like I'm quitting it, but it's usually never works like that, right? Like people
There's
should,
something else behind it.
yeah. So that's why you need to dive, like you need to bring this emotion and you need to dive into yourself deeper to reach the subconscious level. And yes, so that's where the change is happening, and they're happening very fast. And if you ask me how it happens, basically, usually you're just speak like as in meditation, you're going deep and you're speaking to yourself, or like you're getting some answers, like, people are meditating differently and they're experiencing differently. But you just going, yeah, deep inside, and you're explaining yourself in past what actually happened this situation.
I was going to ask you the science. This is the next segue. Amazing.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. No, beautiful. I love it because exactly scientifically then what is happening in your mind when you do that, because you've just explained you got the conscious, the states that you described, the alpha and the beta, and when you're in this hypnotic state or whatever, then you're very susceptible to listening, so then it works. But scientifically, what's happening in your brain, your unconscious is awake, and then that message you're giving, let's say to yourself, is going in, or like what exactly are you doing during that session scientifically? What's going on?
So yeah, I don't know if scientifically or not, but like practically. So consciousness is like how we are right now, right? We are like we are in a nice way relaxed, but we're not too relaxed, so we're still active. And when like subconscious mind is usually it's alpha or like theta brain waves, it can be like very relaxed or like slightly relaxed. And when we are raising up the emotions that are connected to this or that issue, it helps us to bring us back to that moment when we experienced first time, for example, or like exactly certain time we want to like to jump in. It was, for example, like we know exactly which situation we want to experience again and change it, change our behavior, like our pattern that appeared at that time or that like moment. And I'll also explain you with the examples. Like if you're watching TV, let's say you're in alpha wave, and that's why we can easily when watching the movie we can easily cry, we can easily laugh, we can easily like being scared even though we know it's just a movie. But when you're in this alpha brainwave state, you don't feel the difference between reality and actually what's happening.
That is so cool. So you're actually really going to this like disconnected part of yourself that you only get into when you're in that state, and you're recreating whatever happened. You're like I would say rewriting it almost.
Yeah, first you
Just
kind of
emotion.
recalling what's what happened. So you're putting yourself at that moment, and you feel all the
Emotions.
all the emotions and everything you felt at that moment. That's why also in hypnotherapy, like when you're in hypnosis, you're easier recalling things that you could probably not remember in active state of your mind and body. But like when you're there, you're feeling it as it's happening right now. So there is no time feeling when you're in hypnosis. And when you're there, you're just basically bringing your adult self to your younger self
Rewriting it.
and
That's
reprogramming the whole thing. You're just explaining yourself what's actually how you see this situation. That's why, for example, when you go into therapist, you know how it works. Okay, I know how it works, but it doesn't work for me. Like I cannot change myself, or like I cannot bring myself back before this happened to me. But yeah,
amazing. It's so interesting because It does remind me a bit of also of EMDR treatment, because so it's very like you're recalling something.
Yeah.
They really work quite at a deep level. I feel like it can really transform your life if you wanted to.
You experienced that, or your friends?
Yeah, I've done both those
Okay,
therapies,
okay.
and they really work. Like they really go, because they go at a, you're relaxed and you deal with your past emotions. I
Okay.
think that's where the big change happens.
Mm-hmm.
So talking is fine, but that does help. But that also can just make you relive the pain or the anger or the fear or
Yeah.
the unpleasant emotion, and then you go back and you feel it again another time. It's not like it will go away.
Yeah, you need
It's the
to
rewriting that you mentioned, the
Mhm.
reprogramming that
Exactly.
changes it.
Yeah, yeah. And then when you're explaining from your already perspective of today, like adult, wise, with experience, woman or man, you already see the situation from different perspective. And then you go back to your younger self and say like, hey, that's not how you felt at that moment. It's not like it was the wrong perception of the situation. The actual perception of the situation is this and this and this. Or like you always, yeah, basically you're rewriting the way, like again, it's very individual depending on the situation, but you can or rewrite it, or if it's of course some behavioral pattern or some habit, then it could be a bit different tools to use, but it's all about the same. So like you're rewriting something that was written on subconscious level,
Yeah.
and in order to rewrite, you go on the same level and
Yeah,
make it.
that's really effective actually. I can see how
Mhm.
that works. Okay, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you'd like to add that people should know about hypnotherapy that's important?
I mean, there's a lot of things people should know, but it's more like by experiencing it, I would say. But
Any people that like say information about it, or like podcasts or books that are really, really recommended on the topic?
I mean, I started like my basically first,
Journey?
yeah, my first journey. No, or like my first, like first time when I heard and read about hypnotherapy was actually about journeys. The book of Michael Newton, the journey of the soul, and there, so you see the journey, and it was like I don't know, like probably 7 years ago, and I was reading it, and he was explaining how his patients, how his clients experiencing the hypnosis, and then they were experiencing the time. I mean, it's also like you can believe that or not. They were experiencing, like they were recalling the time when they were souls in between lives, and for me, it was like a bit of science fiction,
Right, yeah.
material. But now I'm like, okay, everything can happen, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's very interesting because might not even be a real place. You might just be going back to the earliest memory you have
Mhm.
that is like in between another version of yourself. We don't know what that is really.
But again, I mean, you probably remember, we can discuss it next time, but you probably remember when you were like still as a soul before your life and when you experienced the hypnotherapy, and the perspective on the life was so much different.
Yeah.
So lighter.
For me, I'm like I still don't understand really what you go through. I think it's so interesting. It's such an undiscovered territory that we can't really say definitively what's happening,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But still, it works so well, the treatment and say.
Yeah. So,
Great.
I mean,
Thank you for the recommendation, and thank you for being on the podcast.
thank you so much for inviting.